Colle system is definitely belongs to the category of the openings where white does not need to know much or be prepared real well. They have to know one basic idea and a strategy, and they can play it. Obviously, if you do it this way, if you base your opening choice of your opening is based on getting through the opening easy, where you cannot count on any kind of advantage. So after d4, knight f6, knight f3, e6, e3, c5. White plays bishop d3, and white's idea here is to play bishop d3, c3, and knight d2. Of course, it can be done in any different move order, So we just pick random move order that white can play. You should not get confused if white chooses a slightly different move order. So after bishop d3, we go d5, white goes c3, we go bishop e7, white goes castle on knight d2, it doesn't matter, knight d2, castle, white castles, and b6. Now b6 is very interesting move. It looks like black wants to play bishop b7. But black also wants to play bishop a6. Bishop a6, trying to exchange white's good bishop. You see, white has good bishop on d3, and white has bad bishop on c1. So black tries to exchange white's good bishop by playing bishop a6, and if white prevents what they should do by playing queen e2, then we're simply developing bishop to b7. And after queen e2, bishop b7, well, what black should do here? Now, what's black's plan here? The best plan for queen e2, bishop b7, for white, is to take and go e4. This is actually the main idea of whole opening. White takes on c5, black takes, and go e4. Of course, white can also try to play knight e5, but then if white plays knight e5, even move b4, we could go bishop b7, and after f4, we can also play bishop a6, but bishop a6, white can take and go knight c6, which is also okay for black after queen d7. But if we choose to play bishop b7, and after f4, so-called stone wall, we can go knight to e4, and knight takes e4, de. Black has very fine position after bishop c2, f6, and after knight g4, simply bishop d5 to stop bishop b3. Black is doing very well. So knight c6 next move, followed by f5. Black has absolutely no problem. So that's why we stick to queen e2 move, and after bishop b7, white plays d takes c, b takes c, and e4. Okay, we played knight c6 here. Just simple developing move, and e5 is the move to expect from white. If white plays something like rook e1, we go queen c7, and e5, knight d7. It's almost the same thing. So e5, knight goes to d7, and white goes rook e1, black goes rook e8. Now, the purpose of rook e8 move, so sometimes if white conducts attack on the king side, we can play knight to f8. Black has good control of a center with a d5 and c5 pawn, so therefore black is doing real well. After knight f1, knight f8, and on bishop f4, black simply tries to expand on the queen side. And also maybe they want to play queen b6 and bishop a6, as we already mentioned, to exchange the light square bishop. So a5 is a good move, and after rook a to d1, we go a4. Well, white does not have any good way to make any progress on a king side. So what I would think they should do is c4. Actually, this I'm just quoting you game between two good players. And after c4, let me tell you what happened. Black went knight d4, knight takes d4, c takes d4, and knight g3. Now d takes c4. Now this position is already better for black. The reason why, after bishop takes c4, black goes knight g6, and after bishop c1, black goes queen to b6. You see, d4 pawn is a good pawn. It's not a weak pawn. Can be protected with the e-rook, rook a d8, rook goes to c8, and which we're going to see now in a few moves, black is going to have an advantage. After bishop d3, rook e to d8, obviously you don't want to put rook a to d8, since rook on e8 will be passive. Rook e to d8, and this position, after, maybe rook f1, white plays trying to go f4, and if we simply go bishop d5, attacking a2 pawn, and after a3, bishop b3, and rook on d to e1, rook c8. Well, just look at the position. Black's pieces stand much, much better than white's pieces. Now, f4 is not that good of a move because black can play bishop c2, and after bishop takes c2, d3 check will give black a winning position. What else can white do? Black is very safe, and they have very good views on a queen side, and they simply have, I think, sizable advantage. So position is simply not good for white. Of course, this is far from being the forced continuation for white, but when they play Colle system against you, again, once more, I want to outline that what they want to do, they want to play very quiet opening with a possibility to open position in a later stage. Again, bishop d3, d5, castle, bishop e7, c3, castles, and knight d2. Only plan black has, and only plan there is in Colle's system, is to take on c5 at some point and go e4. So that's what we're preparing for by playing b6, and after queen e2, bishop b7, that's how we got into this position, dc, bc, e4, and knight c6. So position is 100% reliable for black. Black has no problems, totally equalized at least. And for white, I wouldn't recommend anyone to play this opening.